Have you ever had a conversation with people you love, but that conversation broke your heart? I was having dinner with four friends, and a friend of mine started talking about the new zoning proposal in our neighborhood, and up for discussion was increasing density where she lives because there wasn't enough affordable housing in the town for middle to lower income families. Sound familiar? And she blurted out, no, I don't want that. This is a quiet, peaceful place for us. We don't want multiple story buildings popping up. They can build them elsewhere. A second, then a third friend chimed in, agreeing. And I was sitting back, increasingly feeling a wave of emotions coming up, realizing that the people I loved around the table were NIMBYs. I shared that my mother and I moved almost every single year I was in middle and high school because we just couldn't afford to live in the town that we were in anymore after my mom left my dad for domestic violence and we had 2 suitcases and she had to start all over. Then it was an election year and a new mayor and council were elected and they changed the rules. If a developer built market apartments, they had to build the equivalent of social housing. And guess who qualified for the newest social housing in my town? My mom. She was making $24,000 a year at the time. And I still even remember the manager inviting us to the apartment saying, pick your apartment. And she looked at me and says, I want you to pick. I still remember what the carpet smelled like. I still remember opening the cabinets to the kitchen. I still remember it's just clicking for me now that that was the moment where everything changed for me because it gave me the stability. It gave my mom the stability to just settle. We had a safe place to live. We had a clean place. We had heat in our apartment. Holy shit. So it was how I was able to get my grades up. I graduated with a decent GPA, got into a decent college. And as they say, the rest is history. What was tragic was the very people I loved and they who professed to love me would have been the destabilizing voices of dissent for people like my mom and me who needed an affordable place to call home. Now, the conversations around NIMBYism and YIMBYism are loaded, of course. I mean, there was a time in my life where I would go after NIMBYs on X, but I've moved on from that part of my life, although it did bring me great joy at some point. So I know that it's a loaded conversation. I know it hits on a lot of different triggers for people. But there was a moment where I could have decided not to have that conversation with them, to just keep the peace and move on and try to change the subject. But I just couldn't.